Okay, let's dive into what's going on with silver. The market is on an absolute roller coaster right now, and we're going to unpack the powerful forces that are causing all this historic volatility.
I mean, just look at this. The silver market went on this breathtaking rally, hitting a new all-time high, only to come crashing down just a day later. That kind of swing is a massive, flashing signal that something really fundamental is shifting under the surface.
So the big question is, what's causing this chaos in one of the world's most critical metals? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a collision of several huge global trends all happening at once.
Okay, so the first major force at play here is silver's absolutely essential role in modern technology. This is changing the whole game for the metal.
This analysis really just hits the nail on the head. For decades, we thought of silver as, a monetary metal, kind of like gold's little brother. But today, its industrial role is taking center stage in a huge way.
What's so wild is that silver is pretty much essential to every major tech trend you can think of. It has these unique properties, especially its incredible ability to conduct electricity. There's just no good substitute for it in a lot of these applications.
And the demand coming from the green energy transition is just explosive. Seriously, just look at solar power. That one sector alone is driving a massive spike in consumption. And some of the newer, better panels need up to 50% more silver than the old ones.
And this right here is a perfect illustration of that demand multiplier effect. As the world shifts over to electric cars, the amount of silver needed for each vehicle just skyrockets. So every single time an EV replaces a gas car, it's a net win for silver demand.
But here's the thing, silver has this dual identity. While its industrial side is absolutely booming, you just can't ignore its ancient, powerful role as a monetary asset, a store of value. You know how it goes. When people start getting nervous about paper currencies and government debt, they historically run to tangible, hard assets. Gold always gets the headlines, sure, but silver is right there with it, offering a hedge against those same big systemic risks. And this isn't just a trend for everyday investors. We're talking sovereign wealth funds, central banks. The big players who traditionally focused on gold are now making moves into silver. That signals a major shift in how the world's largest financial players are thinking about the metal's future.
So you have two powerful demand drivers, industrial and monetary, both firing on all cylinders. But what about supply? This, my friends, is where the story gets even more compelling.
Now, here's the critical thing to understand about silver. Most of it isn't mined on its own. It's a byproduct. That means its production is completely tied to the economics of mining for other metals, like copper and zinc. And that creates a huge bottleneck. Even with silver prices going through the roof, miners can't just flip a switch and get more out of the ground. Their output is limited by the plans they have for completely different metals. It makes the supply incredibly inelastic. The result? A persistent, structural deficit. For years now, the world has been using way more silver than it's producing, and we've been burning through our above-ground stockpiles to fill that gap. And that trend is only getting faster.
Okay, so we've got all this fundamental pressure building up. Now let's talk about the match that was thrown on the gasoline, a huge geopolitical shift that caught almost everyone by surprise.
This might sound like some boring bureaucratic move, but this quiet reclassification by China, the world's biggest processor of silver, sent absolute shockwaves through the supply chain. It's a signal that they no longer see silver as just a commodity, but as a critical piece of national security. So, what does dual use actually mean here? Well, it means Beijing sees silver as essential for both its economic engines, things like solar and EVs, and for its advanced military and defense technology.
What this really boils down to is control. This move gives China a powerful lever of influence. By controlling who gets to buy processed silver, it can directly impact the technological and industrial plans of countries all over the world.
So you've got all these factors: record industrial demand, new monetary interest, a supply that can't keep up, and now a massive geopolitical power play, all colliding at the exact same time. It's the perfect recipe for the kind of explosive moves we've been seeing.
And this whole collision has basically exposed a deep, growing divide in the silver market itself. There's the price of paper silver, the financial contracts, and then there's the price for actual physical silver bars, where premiums are soaring because of real-world shortages.
So, as you can probably imagine, with the backdrop discomplicated, experts are all over the map. Nobody can really agree on what happens next. While some see the price settling down, a lot of analysts are still pretty bullish, believing these fundamental drivers are just going to keep pushing prices higher.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought to chew on. When you consider its indispensable role in the green energy transition and its role as a hedge in an uncertain world, has silver quietly become the most critical element for our future? The market's recent fireworks certainly suggest that's a question worth asking.